I graduated from Greater Atlanta Christian School in 2004, and I felt very prepared to attend a four-year university academically, emotionally, spiritually, all those things. So I was wondering what you do in your country to help prepare students for the university experience, and also how do you plan to collaborate with other universities around this country and globally in a time where it's so important to think outside of your own nation?
Thank you. As I mentioned, or probably known by many, we are trying to rebuild the country. Almost, we've been doing that in the last 16 years, almost from zero. The country has been devastated by the tragedy of the previous years. So we've been able to start from scratch and build. And one of the areas we focused on is indeed education, because we know that that is really very central to all things that will happen in our social and economic transformation. So in education, we have not only, there are two things that conflict, but you've anyway had to address and how to address. That is, one, you want to provide access to education. As many people as possible, and that's why you have a 9-year basic education provided for all children who should be going to having that education. But that also comes with other problems, because you don't just want to give access, you also want to give quality education. And you find there is a lack of trained teachers, classrooms, different materials that are required. So as we deal with these issues, certainly there are lots of challenges, but we keep in mind access and quality. And in between, we also want to build education based on good values of our society. So that's how we prepare our children to continue, not only stop at this basic education, but to be able to access higher education as well, which we have to invest in and adds to the challenges, but good progress is being made so far. And as we do this, as we try to resolve these problems back at home, we do it in many ways, as we invest in schools, and train teachers, and having more students attend. We also, at the same time, send some of our young people to the outside universities, and there are many who have come this far to study. In fact, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, I'll be at Oklahoma Christian University, where they are already taking above 60 of our young people who are studying there, and a number of them will be graduating. This is the first graduation of the young people who came to Oklahoma Christian. So I will be there to see this graduation take place. And this is one example of how we've been sending our young people to outside the world. But they are there in different states here in the United States, different universities. And happily, they have also been doing very well. In fact, a number of them have since returned and gone back to the country and are helping with building the country in different sectors. And more will be coming. Others go to Europe, different parts, mainly to UK, and others go to Germany and different parts of Europe. So as we promote education back at home and do our best to increase the quality of education, we are doing it also by sending people outside to come and feed into this building.
Mr. President, the example you've set for education in your country has been remarkable. Given your starting point, do you see your example spreading throughout the region in Central Africa? And how can the United States be helpful to sort of set your standard and your example throughout the rest of the continent in a helpful way?
Right. Yes, in fact, like in our region, for example, we have now a community called the East African Community, which brings together 5 countries: Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Burundi. And in this community, we share best practices, including those in education. And basic education provision has been common to these countries and beyond. And we have also worked together to make sure that as much as we provide access, we also raise the quality of our education, and we've been sharing cross borders in how we can develop this education. In working with the United States, both at private sector level as well as administration, we have indicated that education is one of our priorities. And in this development partnership, the United States government has also been keen to provide support to our education process. And that, through that, in fact, that's how we also happen to access different higher education institutions here in the United States. But we use these 2 channels, both private and public channels of this education. So there is a lot, and we are going to forge a collaboration with the Greater Atlanta Christian School. And this is now at the private level, as this is a private school. It's one of those collaboration efforts that we see growing, and as well as we benefit from government support in many other sectors of our economy.
Thank you.
We know that it's going to be great for our students. They are going to learn so much. But I'm curious as to the partnership that we develop here, and as our kids get to be with your children and your children with us, what do you see that your children will be able to teach our children?
Well, I think it's a very interesting aspect of collaboration, and there is always going to be learning from each other, definitely, because Rwandan children live in a different kind of environment, much as there are similarities certainly from one place to another, even in Rwanda and the United States, but largely the kind of history, the different situations they've grown through in a way are different. But the commonality here is our communities also have values on which they build their growth and development and experience different kinds of environment that if they shared with the children here in the United States, certainly I think it broadens the scope, it enriches everyone's experience. There are many things to learn from Rwanda or from Africa, and there are even more things to learn from here in the United States. And for the common good values that are both sides, then they strengthen that and consolidate that and build on. And for the others, they have to learn from each other still. It just enriches the process of collaboration.